Cristobal Balenciaga, Gucci, or Yves Saint Laurent, these fashion designers have managed to create a global frenzy around their names, which are directly associated with prestige and craftsmanship to such an extent that they have become references in the luxury industry. The excellence of their products has convinced everyone, partly due to the quality of their materials and attention to detail, and this has allowed them to inflate their prices to astronomical levels. Excellence comes at a price, and for the elite, that price can get crazy. But nowadays, these luxury brands no longer offer products as excellent as they used to, and they don't necessarily cater only to a wealthy elite, but to more modest budgets. This recent change in the luxury industry forces us to ask ourselves an extremely important question. Is the price of luxury truly justified, or is it basically one of the biggest scams in the fashion industry?
What up, Reddit?
In today's video, we need to seriously talk about the price of luxury clothing, but above all, what really justifies their prices. Let's briefly go back in history to understand the context and origin of the luxury brands that we all know. We're in the 20th century when most of these brands started to emerge. At that time, instead of being well-established brands, they were primarily couturiers. When we bought our clothes from couturiers, it was to have our own custom-made garments. And I'm not telling you anything new when I say that custom-made clothing costs a lot more. We didn't have this marketing strategy of unattainable luxury with artificially inflated prices or intentionally limiting quantities to manipulate people. No, it was rare and expensive because clothing took time to be tailored to each client, and the top couturiers had enough demand to be very selective with their clients. Later on, there was an innovation by Yves Saint Laurent, who for the first time decided to break the codes of haute couture by launching his ready-to-wear brand. In the 1960s, he opened his boutique Saint Laurent Rive Gauche, where you could go and buy garments from a top couturier in just a few minutes without needing alterations. It was obviously a huge success and quickly became the normal for most luxury brands, even the most prestigious ones. Couturier clothing became more standardized over time, and with the passing of iconic couturiers who started these brands, the hype slightly faded away, and we saw several luxury brands like Gucci and Dior teetering on the brink of bankruptcy in the 1990s. The decline in the quality of luxury can truly be observed over the past 15 years alongside what actually gave a new lease of life to the brands: the acquisition of almost all luxury brands by major groups like LVMH or Kering, who own the entire fashion world and have since more than 20 years ago. We have moved to a whole new level, and luxury brands that were once small or medium-sized family businesses have been gradually transformed into huge cash cows with entirely new strategies surrounding them. Kering and LVMH absolutely rule the luxury fashion market, and they're fiercely battling to become the biggest players in the market. We're no longer only focused on craftsmanship and the pursuit of exceptional know-how, but rather the ruthless exploitation of these brands. To constantly achieve new financial goals, they've had to constantly optimize their revenue, for example by increasing prices or reducing manufacturing costs, and thus the quality. Unfortunately, for the end consumer, they have done both at the same time, and many low-quality products have been added to the ranges of these brands. Today, we're heavily focused on luxury merchandising, where just like with the merch t-shirts sold by Travis Scott, you can also buy excessively expensive Gucci t-shirts that are no longer correlated with their quality or manufacturing cost, but rather with the hype surrounding the brand. A brand that initially gained its reputation for high-quality leather goods, but now finds itself making a significant portion of its sales on products that could be categorized as Gucci merch rather than genuine luxury goods. We're no longer talking about dresses or suits priced at $15,000 as in the past, although this very elitist luxury still exists, but we also have the right to a lot of overpriced junk, so to speak, while still keeping the prices below minimum wage to maintain this accessible luxury aspect, because they're targeting a completely different, less affluent, and often less demanding audience. And for you to fully understand the extent of the ripoff, in an article by High Snobiety, Giuseppe Torrio, an Italian textile production director who has worked with major luxury brands, explains a bit about the production and behind the scenes of the industry. As you might expect, it's not great. Apart from the fact that these luxury made-in-Italy t-shirts would actually be produced in North Africa, Eastern Europe, or Asia, but you already knew that, we also learned that a Valentino t-shirt priced at $300 would cost the brand around $3 to produce.
Wow, man. Damn.
And this isn't the case where the brand themselves would produce their own product, because sometimes they simply buy blank models for $5 and resell them for over $300. That's what Moncler allegedly did in their collaboration with Rick Owens, where you could see this cap that strangely resembled a cap from a Chinese wholesaler. And apparently, those who bought it still had traces of the label that had just been removed.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
With all the technological advancements we've witnessed in the textile industry, it's become easier and cheaper to produce even the most complex garments. The concept of luxury pricing is more than just a myth that's rarely rooted in economic realities. The creator of the brand Effont Riche Deprimés explains quite well the disparity between the price and the actual quality of the clothes. He sells his torn t-shirts for $300 solely for the nihilistic and elitist image of his brand, without hiding behind pseudo-quality or exquisite craftsmanship. At least he's honest. Most of his customers are aware of the ripoff, but that doesn't stop him from selling his products without much trouble. Because, once again, nowadays the prices of branded clothing aren't directly correlated to the quality of the product, but to how much you're mesmerized by a brand, an artist, or a design. The price is often primarily a marketing positioning. In the collective unconscious, luxury must have a minimum price, and if a brand offers cheaper products, consumers will perceive it as less prestigious regardless of its quality. We have seen on Instagram that your relationship with the price of your clothes has been completely disrupted. If you are asked if you would prefer to spend $400 on a luxurious pair with premium materials or to spend it on a hyped pair of Nike with noticeably inferior, if not low-end materials and finishing, the hyped pair wins by far. Unfortunately, we have to accept the fact that the notion of value for money is no longer relevant for the majority of consumers. Instead, it's the image projected by the brand or the product that becomes the argument and makes us spend the big bucks to the point where we end up dropping $1,700 on shoes that cost $30 to manufacture.
We're very, very stupid.
While we often talk about luxury prices or reselling, the value for money ratio is almost identical for Nike and their popular products as it is for luxury brands. A Jordan 1 costs roughly 8 times less to produce than its selling price of $160, and you'll find a similar ratio for Balenciaga, Triple S, or a pair of Alexander McQueen. Yes, luxury products may be of better quality, but not necessarily significantly more than premium brands that are 4 to 5 times cheaper, and sometimes these premium brands even outperform luxury brands. In concrete terms, the price of a luxury product is often not truly justified by its quality, nor is the price of Jordan 1s or Yeezys, to be honest. But we should also realize that reducing the value of a garment solely to its manufacturing cost is quite absurd. The added value no more lies in the incredible materials or exceptional craftsmanship as it used to be the case for certain brands and products. However, in most cases, what justifies the price is the design, originality, rarity, history, or brand image and the message it conveys about you or your surroundings. There are thousands of reasons that compel us to lay our money on the table and walk away with a luxury garment rather than a plain white Uniqlo t-shirt for $10. And the only thing that truly justifies the price of luxury products is exactly the same for those hyped sneakers priced at $5,000. It's just us as consumers who have accepted to assign such values to these products. Anyway, now you probably know more about luxury pricing, even though it's a generic term we used, and it also applies to designer brands, haute couture, and everything that is excessively expensive. Now, it's up to you to tell me what you think about it, whether you consider luxury or designer clothes to be a massive ripoff, or on the contrary, if you believe that those prices can be justified.
Invece vengo dal nord, il sole sembra falso, una fila in questura. I negri ora ballano, noi non balliamo, sparami in testa o chiedimi scusa. Yo, i miei piccoli non sono scortesi e che fiutano in fretta quando volete il cazzo e non cerchiamo troie, non ci siamo intesi. Sono tutti London, scam, non scammer, stanno a fare i modelli con le trapstar false, chiedono un favore, non dicono mai grazie e mettono lo